Good morning, Carl. We continue our trip through Beatrix Potter. Today's tale is called The Tale of the Flopsy Bunnies. It is said that the issue of eating too much lettuce is soporific. I have never felt sleepy after eating lettuces, but then I am not a rabbit. They certainly had a very soporific effect upon the Flopsy Bunnies. When Benjamin Bunny grew up, he married his cousin Flopsy. They had a large family and very provident and cheerful. I do not remember all of the separate names of their children. They were called generally the Flopsy Bunnies. As it was not always quite enough to eat, Benjamin used to borrow cabbages from Flopsy's brother Peter Rabbit, who kept a nursery garden. Sometimes Peter Rabbit had no cabbages to spare. When this happened, the Flopsy Bunnies went across the field to a rubbish heap, the ditch around Mr. McGregor's garden. Mr. McGregor's rubbish heap was a mixture. There were jam pots and paper bags and mountains of chopped grass from a mowing machine, which always tasted oily, some rotten vegetable marrows, an old boot or two. One day, oh joy, there was a large quantity of overgrown lettuce which had shot into flower. The Flopsy Bunnies simply stuffed lettuces. By degrees, one after the other, they were overcome with slumbers and they lay down in the mown grass. Benjamin was not so much overcome as his children. Before going to sleep, he was sufficiently wide awake. He put a paper bag over his head to keep off the flies. The little Flopsy Bunny slept in the delightfully warm sun. From the lawn beyond the garden came the distant clackety of the mowing machine. The blue bottles buzzed around the wall, and a little old mouse picked up over the rubbish pots among the jam pots. I can tell you her name. She was called Thomasina Tittlemouse, a wood mouse with a long tail. She rustled across the paper bag and awakened Benjamin Bunny. The mouse apologized profusely and said she knew Peter Rabbit. While she and Benjamin were talking, close under the wall, they heard the heavy tread above their heads, and suddenly Mr. McGregor emptied a sackful of lawn mowers right on top of the sleeping bunnies. Benjamin shrank down in his paper bag, the mouse head in a jam pot. The little rabbits smiled sweetly in their sleep under the shower of the grass. They did not awaken because the letters had been so soporific. They dreamt their mother Flopsy was tucking them up in a hay bed. Mr. McGregor looked down at the emptying sack. He saw some funny little tips of brown ears sticking up through the lawn mowings. He stared at them for some time. Presently he settled on one of them as a fly settled one of them moved. Mr. McGregor climbed down to the rubbish heap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little rabbits, he said as he dropped them into his sack. The Flopsy Bunnies dreamt their mother was turning them over in their bed. They stirred a little in their sleep, but they did not wake up. Mr. McGregor tied up the sack and left it on the wall. He went away with the mowing machine. When he was gone, Mrs. Flopsy Bunny, who had remained at home, came across the field. She looked suspiciously at the sack and wondered where everyone was. Then the mouse came out of her jam pot, and Benjamin took the paper bag off his head and told her the doleful tale. Benjamin and Flopsy were in despair, for they could not undo the string. But Mrs. Tittlemouse was a resourceful person. She nibbled a hole in the bottom corner of the sack. The little rabbits were pulled out and pinched to wake them. Their parents stuffed the empty sack with 3 rotten vegetable marrows and an old blacking brush and 2 decaying termites. Then they all went in and hid under a bush and watched Mr. McGregor. Mr. McGregor came back and picked up his sack and carried it off. He carried it hanging down as if it were rather heavy. The Flopsy Bunnies followed at a safe distance. They watched him go into his hut, and they crept up to the window to listen. Mr. McGregor threw down the sack on the floor. It would have been extremely painful to the Flopsy Bunnies if they happened to be inside. They could hear him drag a chair on the flags and chuckle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little rabbits, said Mr. McGregor. Hey, what's that now? What have you been spoiling now? Inquired Mrs. McGregor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little fat rabbits, repeated Mr. McGregor, counting on his finger. 1, 2, 3. Don't be silly. What do you mean, silly man? In the sack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, replied Mr. McGregor. The youngest Flopsy Bunny was on the windowsill. Mr. McGregor could hold the sack and felt it. He could feel they must be old rabbits because they were so hard and different shape. Not fine to eat, but the skins will do fine to line my old cloak. Line your cloak, shouted Mr. McGregor. I shall sell them and buy myself baccy, rabbit tobacco. I shall skin them and cut off their heads. Mr. McGregor took, well, you know what they found. Oh, well, Carl, you know what they found when they opened the sack. They didn't find any rabbits at all, and Mrs. McGregor was very angry. And Mr. McGregor was angry too. One of the rotten marrows came flying through the kitchen window and hit the youngest Flopsy bunny. It was rather. Then Benjamin and Flopsy thought it was time to go home. So Mr. McGregor did not get his tobacco, and Mrs. McGregor did not get her rabbit skins. But the next Christmas, Thomasina Tittlemouse got a present of enough rabbit wool to make herself a cloak and a hood and a handsome muff and a pair of warm mittens. The end, Carl. These are definitely nowhere near as strong a tale as those of the Jungle Book. Pardon me, I'm still having my coffee and waking up. See you tomorrow for the next one.